Okay, everybody, thank you. Right, item 1, apologies received from Councillor White and Councillor Ben Mitchell. Any others?
Councillor Messent.
Okay, item 2, declaration for members' interests. Are there any interest to declare? Nope. So, item 3, to confirm and sign the minutes of the Operations and Improvement Committee meeting held on 31st of January. Okay, do we have, are we all in agreement with those? Any proposer? Seconder? Thank you. Any abstentions? No.
Would you like to sign them?
Right. Duly signed. Thank you. Item 4, public participation. Have we received any questions to submit?
No questions received.
Okay. Item 5, to note year-to-date financial position for the Operations and Improvement Committee.
Whether any explanations are required. The figures there go up to the middle of January, so there is one figure there which I know has not come from the earmark reserve yet, which is on the generation project transfer required. Do we have any questions or any issues?
You okay with that? On the agreement? Item 6, to receive an update and consider matters relating to the delivery plan for 22-23.
So you'll see I put together a short report which is basically to summarise year end and where we are with projects. It sets out the budget against delivery, as we've noted all the way through the year, the delivery plan and the budget items against those. There are a few projects which will extend beyond the end of the financial year, but members have requested delivery. So those are around items such as public realm expenditure. There is the Business Improvement District project, which is underway, and there'll be an interim payment to make sure that it's groundwork. But I just want to make sure that we request that the outstanding amounts to cover that project are into earmarked reserves. And so I've listed all those items. Some of them are items which have been raised in the past, and it's just summarising what's been discussed and agreed in the past, and therefore I've sort of broken them down into those to approve or to note. Approval to create, in fact I don't think we need to do that, approval to create earmark reserve for the Knife Angel costs from the generation project. The enforcement officer, this is a rolling programme, and we have an earmark reserve towards the cost of employment because the employment didn't start at the start of the financial year, it's carried over. So that's just noted, to note that £14,000 is committed to the contract to continue. Also in terms of the expenditure on volunteer support for parks and allotments, that remaining £771 to support Frank Webb Avenue, the community, and obviously the £100,000 for the installation of equipment. We haven't paid for that yet. The consultation's taking place. The brief's been put together by ANSA and the designs have been sought, but we committed to that project to make sure that sits in the earmark reserve ready to cover those costs. And then in terms of public realm, again previously referred to in terms of £9,000 public realm to augment £6,000 for lighting. So the brief has gone out for that for a lighting or electrical company to do that work. So that again needs to sit in the earmark reserves to pay for once that contract's approved, and to transfer any remaining budget from public realm into earmark reserve to ensure that I continue that project. And finally, just a request to recommend to council. You may remember at the previous meeting, you approved transferring the funding we have from Cheshire Council for hoardings to use for shop window displays. And I just want to cover that to ensure that you're happy to go ahead and procure those shop window displays.
Can I just ask, how is that going to fit in with the other town centres we generate high street from the Cheshire East responsible for?
It fits in with it, and it was a request from Cheshire East because there was a technical issue around doing the hoarding designs, and they requested that we help to get that project underway by using the finance for those shop windows. And there are 5 windows which have been suggested, or 5 properties that the new designs have been suggested for, and it just helps get that project underway before the finance is available for the rest of the project.
So those properties currently vacant?
They're currently vacant.
Did we request that we actually see the designs as well before we go?
Yes, we can do that. So
I
we
have
have
this
it
previous
prepared.
time.
Yes.
Right, so then, to consider to no existing approved earmark reserves is listed on the proposal. Any extensions? 7.2, to approve the creation of an earmark reserves for projects to be completed. Second. All in favour? Any abstentions? And then 7.3, to recommend to council that approval is given to the regeneration manager to seek quotations for shop windows and hoarding decorations up to the value of £21,487 in line with the national regulations. Opposed? Second. All those in favour? Any abstentions? To receive an update and consider matters relating to heritage. Thank you.
So Heritage brief updates on what's been achieved since the last meeting. Work has mainly focused on the development of the exhibition, and we now have the first draft of how the exhibition will look. We've also been preparing for the Heritage Open Days, as well underway now for the draft programme, and we're starting to make approaches to various organisations to keep them involved. So the main asks from the paper tonight, and there are 2. The first is around Christchurch, and we're requesting that the budget of £3,000 for 2022-2023 is placed in earmark reserves to run community engagement events once the works to Christchurch are completed through the Future High Street Funding project. Work has begun on removing vegetation around the building, which will enable a more in-depth survey to take place. And once this has been undertaken, Cheshire East can apply for a faculty from the church for the work to be undertaken, and that should be completed by March 2024. So all engagement we've done with possible parties and stakeholders has highlighted the need to raise visibility of the site, and having budget to support animation to do this would be a great benefit. So moving the £3,000 from that from the business delivery plan this year to earmark reserves would provide a total earmark reserve of £6,685 to support that activity. The second ask relates to the 2023-24 business delivery plan. As the next step to developing access to heritage approved schools, we would like to request the £5,000 allocated to the Heritage Learning Market is approved to develop a heritage workshop to be delivered outside of the classroom. The heritage resource has been well received, but as outlined in the report, trips to museums and other heritage settings contribute to increased cultural capital, which in turn links better educational attainment and a more economic and socially stable life. We've been supporting this by promoting the Feel Good trips and other initiatives to other towns and cities, but we now want to provide that kind of activity in the town for the children to understand that the town does have that cultural capital. In time, we'll provide an offer for those outside the town to learn our stories and also that other schools can access in the future. With the exhibition on Crewe Works, we have an opportunity to develop a workshop around Crewe's heritage, which can be delivered at the Heritage Centre, and the budget would be used as a pilot for that session, which would then be offered to schools within the boundary.
Okay, so then, I just wanted to consider to approve the request to transfer £3,685 from budget line Christchurch projects to EMR Christchurch to support community engagement and proposed. Seconded, all in favour? Any abstentions? Okay. And then second item to approve the proposal to spend £5,000 from the Heritage Working Group in the business delivery plan to develop a heritage workshop for schools. Opposed? Thank you. Seconded. All in favour? Any abstentions? Thank you. Item 8, to receive an update and consider matters relating to
you. So since the last meeting, work's gone ahead to bring the knife angel to Crewe. PH Productions are managing the logistics. So I made initial contact with Bradford, who are the town which has the angel before us, and it goes on to Peterborough afterwards. We are in the process of getting arrangements now for the angel to be delivered on the 2nd of May, so just after the bank holiday. There is a road closure approved in place, which will be required. It takes about 3.5 hours to install the angel vehicle onto a base on the Memorial Square. I think since our last meeting, I actually spoke to the RBL and sought their approval for putting the angel on the square so that it cause any risk of offence, and that was understood. Therefore, we shouldn't have any issues in one sense. The angel will go to the side of the memorial. I think the side of the town not to be put. So logistically, that's all underway. We're looking at the programme. Some things are in place and more in train at the moment. Reception Theatre Company are going to do their 10 performances in secondary schools, down knife crime, and there's another free workshops taking place with smaller groups in some of the secondary schools. There's also a package of learning available for schools to work with. So there's one that we were looking at from Lancashire Police, but there's also one which Cheshire Police developed, and I think that was in relation to having the knife angel in Chester. I've spoken to a local person and hoping to have a meeting soon with them to talk about a campaign that we ran for No Knives in Crewe, and that was around death caused by knives in the area. And it was very good to have that real story to tell as well, with all sensitivity around that family. So that's about that in detail now, but that's ongoing. Also spoken to Dirty Gas Company, who I'm hoping we're going to produce a piece around that. We've reached out to the community for support with various activities, training for these lead kits, which the town council purchased years ago, which we're hoping to buy some more with available funding, some workshops on lessons on using defibrillators, which again, some have been purchased by the town council, so it draws in things that the town council is already doing, but things that might help save lives. So there's a lot of work underway at the moment. There will be an opening ceremony. Unfortunately, that is just before elections, so we realise that members are in further, but there's also a closing ceremony. So if you're not able to be very visible just before or just at the start of Knife Angel, it should be possible to be there at the closing ceremony, or if you could be there at both, but being visible. Photographs and being visible. Being invisible. So there's a lot to happen, a lot going on, and we will do our utmost to promote and support it. The our comms officer is now in communication with Sharice's comms officer and the police as well, so that they get the combined stories, and she's set up now a 9-page page. So we'll shortly be able to refer to that to see what.
How is it secured?
It will, well, in the day, it will be, you mean as in security protected? Yeah. So it's covered by CCTV, and in the day, what we're intending to do, as far as possible, is for police to provide security or other volunteers just to be around it, because it needs people there to talk about it and why it's there and give out leaflets, etc. But towards the evening, then it needs 24-hour coverage, so we will bring in a security company to provide that overnight.
That's all costed.
Yeah, it is, and it's a requirement of the insurance requirements of the nature that it's to be secured. Yeah. So just a couple of councillors.
I don't know about anybody else, but I've had quite a few people, some are for it, some are against it. The question I was asked quite a lot is, why the Memorial Square? And I don't matter, well, in my opinion, it's the safest place. You've got the police station behind. I said, during the day, you've got the municipal building opposite, people coming in and out. I said, but where would you put it? And they came up with every single idea. You name it, it's somewhere in Queen's Park was one. So I just laughed. Yeah. But on the whole, I think the majority of people I've spoken to, once it's been explained to them where it's all about and what it's all about, they quite like the idea. So well done.
Thank you. Well, it's a team effort to bring it in to ambitious project.
Well done for the team.
I shall pass that on to you. And in terms of the square, it is the most visible place for it to be in Crewe. And it's been in other cities, in cathedrals and right in the town centre. We wouldn't have the impact with it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be visible 24 hours a day, which is quite fun. And I just point out that we've had to pay deposits to the Ironworks for having the Angel, the returnable one, but it's about us looking after it and also doing what we said we'll do, which is promote it, run the education and the engagements, etc. So there's a deposit of £4,000 which has been paid. In terms of insuring the Angel, it has been insured for £1 million, which has been quite a thing because it's a short-term insurance. It's been difficult to find insurance cover for it, but we're not alone in that. Some authorities underwrite it. I think that's the best. Town council, we've gone back to our current supplier, and that's been the advice of brokers too. So we've gone back to our current supplier who will cover it, but the fine in excess of £50,000. But members supported and full council supported, and therefore the clerk advises this is necessary. This is a necessary thing if we're going to deliver this.
I can't see many people trying to carry it off, can you?
No.
Yeah, they were.
And we've also purchased additional barriers, which they're £485. Additional barriers out of the budget, and they're available for the use.
So can you remind me how long we have the Angel for?
Yeah, for a month. It'll actually be taken down on the 31st of May, so we will have our farewell before.
Apologies for that, but is there a programming leaflet or anything that's going to be circulated on specific engagement events and things? Because I know there's a lot of interest in now, and people would like to know other specific workshops they can go to. Is there stuff in school?
Yes, so there's already some plans with schools, and hopefully there'll be more. So what we're hoping is that through the police and their communication with the schools and through the LSEP, which Vicky's involved in, that the schools will do that, and do those workshops. But we will put together a leaflet once we know what's happening and we've got everything in place, which we'll be able to put out online, but also we'll have a leaflet holders action on the square by the Angel.
Okay, so item 8.1, to receive the, to note the deposit of the £4,000, to note the additional insurance cover required in excess of £50,000, and to note the purchase of the various £489 from the public ground. Agreement on that one?
I'll move.
Any abstentions? Okay. Right. Is there any other business anybody wants to raise? In that case, I will close the meeting. Oh, just note that the next meeting is on a Wednesday.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. Is there a reason why we're doing?
Actually,
I think it's around all the bank holidays, additional bank holidays,
Yes.
isn't it? Coronation on.
Oh, when's that?
no, actually, that's entirely my mistake because it's not the correct date. We've had a debate about dates today, haven't we? It's the 30th of May, which is, I do apologise for that.
Just not good enough, you know.
No, I know,
I'm sorry.
let me just confirm what day the 30th of May is for you. It's correct. Tuesday. Right.
Yes, right, so 30th of
Can
May,
you stop using our pen?
Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Okay, so meeting closed at 6:25.
That's the record.
So we know that I'm standing down in May, so thank you to you all for being fellow committee members, and it's been really enjoyable.
Sorry. Can we have that minuted then, and thanks to Joe for all his contributions as well.
I'm not a second that.